What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video we have the keys to a Lamborghini Huracan rear wheel drive, and in today's video we're going to go over the topic, what in the world makes a supercar a supercar?
So huge shout out to HBI Auto for providing this car for us today. Check out their website, that's down in the description. They have a huge selection of awesome pre-owned inventory. So in our opinion, when you think supercar, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Lamborghini. So we have a bright orange, all orange everything. Let's check it out.
So to go over everything that makes a supercar, we're going to do a quick walk around of the Huracan and then take it for a spin. One of the things, of course, is the styling. This thing looks ridiculous. It stands out, it has sharp lines, it's super low to the ground, and it just looks wow. It looks like what you would think a supercar is. All the crazy sharp lines. We have a massive 10-cylinder engine, horrible gas mileage, well over 500 horsepower. So I think those things are also very important because you want just fun, amazing sounds, amazing looks in your face. As far as usability, because in my opinion, the ultimate supercar is something that you can still drive. So if I open up the trunk now, we can see what we have going on. For me personally, I have my camera bag and lunchbox. That is all I need for my car. So for me, this is perfectly fine. You can fit just enough to make the Huracan a usable car. Of course, two people could probably fit 2 backpacks in here, which is plenty. You can go on a nice weekend trip in your supercar. So exterior wise, yes, the Huracan definitely has it. And then if we go to the interior,
We have cool door handles.
we have cool door handles. And then what also makes a supercar? Well, it's a wild interior. How many cars have a matching interior? Everything is covered in leather, beautiful stitching, beautiful materials, a lot of technology, and it is still roomy for 2 people, and you get a little bit of space behind the seats. So clearly the Huracan has it in the looks department and the practicality department to make this a supercar, but let's drive it and see what else it does. All right, so now that we are in the Huracan, what exactly is our definition of a supercar?
So a supercar should be something that doesn't just sit in your garage. You should be able to drive it every single day. It should be comfortable, give you all the amenities that you want, but still retain that supercar look and supercar performance.
Now, a Lamborghini Aventador is of course the next step up from the Huracan, but we don't think that's as good overall as this, just because if you look at a lot of factors like reliability, comfort, the view out, the ease of driving, it's a lot more of a raw car to where it's not as daily drivable friendly. And we're not saying that the best supercar has to be one that you can completely daily drive, but it has to be one that you could genuinely take it pretty much everywhere you need. Obviously, you're not going to go get a bunch of 2x4s in a Huracan or any car like this.
Yeah.
But you can take it on a weekend trip. 2 people, which this car's a 2-seater, 2 people can go somewhere for a long distance and a long period of time in this car. And the Aventador is just a little bit too clunky the way it is with a single clutch. So this is more refined, pretty much bulletproof, reliable. So that's definitely all kind of our definition, I would say, of a supercar.
Yeah, the last point I didn't mention is that reliability.
Yeah.
I have an Audi R8, he has a GTR. They can be considered supercars.
They're budget supercars.
Budget supercars that have that reliability to drive them every day. We've seen Huracans with 100,000 miles on them that are still kicking even after being supercharged, and they have that reliability. Because a lot of people would think, you know, that supercar is going to break all the time, it's going to be very expensive. You want a supercar that's going to not break the bank to repair. Yeah, and that's what we found with our budget supercars, but especially when you're at this level here.
When you're into this level of car, a lot of people think reliability shouldn't even be a question. But quite honestly, if you're really using your car, if you bought it to drive it, you don't want it half the time in the shop spending a crazy amount of money. And I know people think, well, if you can afford a $250,000 Lamborghini, you should be able to afford the maintenance. You shouldn't have to spend $30,000 a year to get the engine rebuilt. That ruins the fun, I think.
Right.
And it doesn't matter where you are in life, because obviously looking at people who make more than you think, well, they can afford anything. But everybody's at a different level, and you know, your level, you don't think that you can just afford anything, right? You know, with my GTR, I don't want to spend 10 grand on a transmission. I could, but I don't want to. People owning a $200,000 Lambo, they don't want to spend $20,000 on a transmission. So regardless, reliability is important because you just want to have worry-free fun.
Yeah.
That's, I think, a big deal.
Exactly. And then why don't we move on to the interior now with all of your creature comforts and technology and stuff.
All right, so this particular spec, we don't have cruise control, but you can get cruise control in this car. We have navigation, parking sensors, backup cameras, all the normal technology. Heated seats, the luxury aspects, to where, like we said, you can drive it all the time. And I think the Huracan is a car I'm so comfortable in right now. Like, I could drive it all day long without even thinking.
Being on the inside right now, honestly, I don't feel like I'm in a Lamborghini. Aside from obviously knowing, Lamborghini badge here, and it's different than a typical car, but you just feel like you're in a normal vehicle. Like you're just driving it.
It can actually tone down to kind of be normal, aside from the fact that you look around and see Lamborghini stuff.
Right.
But it has that aspect of, I could actually take this to the store and just kind of use it.
Yeah.
And another thing with a supercar, it's got to be fun. So we have Corsa mode we can drive in with the manual. We have a 5.2 liter naturally aspirated 10 cylinder with a 7-speed dual clutch and rear wheel drive. So this, from what a lot of owners have said, is like the more fun version of all wheel drive, just because you can play with it more. You can toss it around, a little bit better steering. And in this car, even just kind of chilling, we have so many crazy noises.
You didn't even do anything.
I'm at 3,000 RPM.
Yeah. You have to have that fun factor in your supercar, and I think it's really awesome to be able to go from toned down nothing, just driving from point A to point B.
This is completely different.
To completely different with the switch of a button.
And if you're spending $200,000 on a car, it's got to be something that drives completely different than the next thing.
That's so precise.
And actually, that's a dead end. But I think that's an important fact, to where you want something that is different and wow factor. Like,
that sounds so good.
Did that not just say wow?
Like, I mean, we just went from talking to you guys without a smile to now we just completely changed the car.
Oh my gosh. And that's one thing that I even love at our price point with, sub $100,000 cars, the GTR and RA. Nothing else is like those cars for the money. And when you bump it up to this price point, mid 200,000s, I think to me that price is where you get the diminishing returns any more expensive. Because now you're just paying for more exclusivity, and honestly sometimes more problems, because those crazy expensive cars, you can't do what you can do in a car like this. And that to me is so important, I think, with what a supercar is.
Right, like the hypercar level cars that just sit in the garage as kind of your investment or your trophy car just sitting there.
Yeah.
You let a car sit, you're going to start getting more problems, and when you get to that level, you don't want to drive it because it's that expensive.
If you have a full body or a full carbon body Pagani Huayra, I mean, one scratch, one chip, you're talking a $200,000 repair. That's just, whoever you are, that's just not fun, and you don't want to have to fix that.
Right.
This car, PPF it, if it honestly gets a chip on it, oh well, it's one little body panel, it's paint, a couple $100, not the worst thing, and you don't even need to fix it day one.
Yeah.
A Pagani with a chip on it is horrible. Like, that is absolutely devastating. But a car like this is at that sweet spot, I think. To me, just, I don't know, that 200-ish is where you can still just have fun, drive it, and almost like worry-free fun, which I think takes a lot out of it. And of course, depending on your own price range, that number might be different. I can't quite afford a car like this, but I still think this is going to be that point of, any more expensive, are you going to get more fun for the money? I don't know. Because we've driven, I guess, about $500,000 cars are the most we've driven. And honestly, I think this is just as fun. It may not look as wild, be quite as fast, but it's more reliable, more usable, which means I can drive it more and use it more and put my money to work more.
Should we talk about other manufacturers? Because we are in a Lamborghini, but that doesn't mean a supercar can't be a Ferrari, can't be a McLaren, but from what we've seen, Lamborghini seems to be the most reliable.
I mean, you guys have seen other YouTubers who own these cars who abuse the crap out of these things.
Yeah.
And they don't break. They just don't break.
That's why I wanted my R8, because it was almost a budget Huracan, in a sense, budget Lamborghini.
And see, that right there is important.
Yeah, definitely important.
So what makes a supercar is basically it just has to kind of have it all. And I think we both become fans of cars that really can do more than one thing.
Right.
And now we're back in Strada mode. Honestly, it's quiet, comfortable, normal.
Even a Corsa was fine.
Yeah, it's a doable, livable car.
Just depending on how you want to drive for the day.
Yeah. So I like that aspect a lot. And Lamborghini to us has always just been that super cool car company, because they kind of have it all with what they offer in terms of reliability and style and how fun they are to drive. And even in automatic mode, it's still it's something special. And I know we talked about how this can actually be toned down to be normal, but when you play with it, it still is like, whoa, I'm actually still in a Lamborghini when I give it some gas a little bit.
Yeah.
So it can tone down just enough to be normal when you are just cruising, you know, put your head back and just kind of drive. But then you get on the gas a little bit and you're having fun, and then you go back into manual and tone it all the way up into the fun mode. And you get to experience precision at its finest. Like the transmission on this thing is ridiculously quick. And the power delivery is so smooth. Everything about this car, when you play with it, is just like, wow.
You have so many different options. Not just hopping it like some of the hypercars and just... Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But what else makes a supercar a supercar?
Comment below, guys. What do you think makes a supercar that thing? To us, it's just, it's got to do everything. It's got to be that fun and reliable car. I think the reliability aspects, the practicality aspects, they have to be there, because if you can't use it, then you can't even use it.
Yeah.
You know. All right. Well, I think that's about then it for driving in the Huracan. We'll do a last little bit of acceleration.
It gives you that drama too, even with the paddles.
I know, and I especially like with the Huracan in general, how the different drive modes make it to where, like right there, it kicked us every gear change.
Yeah.
Like that's fun. That's makes you laugh. And I think for Lamborghini, like even when you guys watched Top Gear back in the day, Jeremy Clarkson always talked about Lamborghinis are a laugh. They make you smile. They may not be the most precise, perfect supercar, like maybe the way a Ferrari's gonna drive, but they got a fun factor where it's like, I'm not on a racetrack anyway. I don't care if I'm not gonna win a race.
Yeah.
Not that this can't. But it just has the whole blend of fun, reliable, amazing, wow, awesome, and it looks amazing.
So that's going to wrap it up for what we think makes a supercar, being behind the wheel of this Lamborghini Huracan. Comment down below, what do you think makes a supercar, and which manufacturer would you go with? I think that's going to wrap it up for getting behind the wheel of this car. Give it a huge thumbs up, check out HBI Auto, and consider subscribing to our channel so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. And we'll see you guys in the next video.